Well, I can't believe August 1st. Let's just say it. August 1st. Goodbye, July. August 1st, which means one thing. Football will be in our lives again. This Thursday, in fact, some sort of football anyway. I'm not quite sure if we want to call that a game. The bottom line is it is here, the month of August, and we got a lot going on here, not just with Major League Baseball. We got a little UFC going on right now. College football now, 3.5 weeks away, week 0. Ton happening here, and no better way to kick it all off than with our man VR, Gianni the Greek, in the house, glued. Are you in Serbia, Gianni, is what I'd like to know. Because you don't look like you're dressed in Serbia, my man.
No,
what's going on?
No, didn't make it to Belgrade because I'm taping at the UFC next week. We're taping a couple shows, and Contender Series is right around the corner. So, no, didn't make it out there. But that show sold out in 22 minutes.
Crazy.
It just shows you, man. They know they could go anywhere in the world and just boom, boom, boom like that, sell out these arenas, which is a good thing. The sport continued to grow. And not the best betting card. I narrowed down 3 premium plays myself. Just hit the first one on the under in that ladies fight that just finished. So we cashed. We got 2 bets remaining. It's been chalky. It's been a chalky year in MMA. Let me give you the exact data. Heading into today's card, Joe, listen to this. Heading into today's UFC event in Belgrade, we've had 24 cards. 299 UFC fights. So far, versus the closing line, favorites are 216, 79, and 4. So 216 favorites versus the closing line, 79 underdogs, and 4 draws or no contest. That's 72.2% favorites cashing and only 26.4% underdogs. Now, historically, underdogs in MMA, third best sport to bet them. Only sport where dogs do better, Major League Baseball and the NHL. But NFL, college football, NBA, NCAA basketball, moneyline dogs do better in MMA, but that just hasn't been the case. Seems like either it's an outlier type of year or the playing field's changing where being forced to put more and more cards, is there less parity? Meaning like that was the difference between the UFC and the other promotions. The smaller promotions, you look at the betting card, for the longest time, you had heavy chalk, minus 900s, minus 1200s, minus 800s. There were mismatches on paper. And the UFC, that wasn't the case. I mean, sometimes, but you had 12 fights on average per card, and maybe you had 3 or 4 of them where they were lined, above minus 400. That's good because there's parity. Now, I don't know if that's changing, meaning, because it's hard to find talent, man. It's hard to find talent to put on this many cards, to keep them healthy. Like a lot of things got to line up. And I'm just starting to see a lot of favorites getting the money, and it's costing the books. And when that's the case, they're going to charge you for it. It doesn't mean favorites won't continue to do well to finish 2026, but I promise you, we only got 5 months left. They will be charging a premium. So if you like a favorite in MMA, you got to have conviction. You got to know going in, you're probably laying minus 220 when you should be laying 205, 210. Again, doesn't mean you're going to lose, but you got to know you're being charged that premium, because when you got 72% favorites, so on a card of 12 fights, you're going to have eight favorites come in, 9 out of 12. You get 9 favorites, 2 dogs, and maybe a draw. Out of those 9 favorites, you're going to cash a lot of 5, 6, 7 fighter parlays. It's hard for the books to catch up when that's the case. So this is a long about way of saying favorites have been doing extremely well through the first 7 months. In fact, they've been outperforming the betting market by a significant amount. Underdogs expected to do much better as we close out the year. So don't be afraid to bet some of these underdogs. I know the favorites are already 3-0 again tonight. Not saying the dogs are going to go out there and have a 12-0 night, but I don't think we're going to be getting the 11-1 favorites every single week as we've been getting. We're going to start getting 4, 5 dogs in there, and there'll be opportunities to make some money.
Yeah, it was for the longest time, Gianni. The prelims, right, would give you the dogs, right? But nobody knew them. And then the better-known guys, the higher fights in the main card, sometimes got a little chalky, but that seems to be the opposite. Like
exactly.
the Stricklands, the Gageys, all of a sudden the main events, everyone's laying the chalk, and it's like, wait a minute, what just happened here? It's kind of crazy the way it flipped.
Uros Medic is a minus 400 favorite against Daniel Rodriguez, who I get it. Daniel Rodriguez was in prison in Tijuana. We're hearing all that, but that's noise. You can't quantify that. Like, what's the price? We don't know. There's no sample size of how guys perform after spending freaking a month in the Tijuana prison. So I don't know how bad it is for him or how good it is for him. But with that said, it's a guy who's coming in on a 3-fight win streak. And more importantly, for when you look at the betting line, this is a guy who you rarely see him in this kind of a dog price. In fact, he was only a plus 200 dog. He opened as a plus 180 dog against Ian Machado Gary, who's fighting Makhachev in the main event for the welterweight title. And he's a bigger dog against Uros Medic because Medic has won 3 straight fights. Again, Medic may go out there and win this fight today, but I don't know what world do we price him as a minus 400 favorite. And where, the break even, he has to win this fight 8 out of 10 times. So for you to conclude you have an edge, you got to say he wins this fight 8.5, close to 9 out of 10 times. Like, how do you get there with Uros Medic? And yet that's exactly what the bettors are doing. And maybe they're going to cash him. Hopefully they do for them. But I just do not see value on some of these big favorites. Robert Valentin's a 2-1 favorite over Todorovic. That makes no sense. Like, that's as close to a coin flip as you're going to get. But again, I'm not surprised you're seeing chalk, heavy chalk being charged on some of these favorites that at least on paper are better. But it's the fight game, man. And too many ways to lose a fight to lay that kind of chalk and lay premiums on top of it.
Too risky, that's for sure. Guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, become part of the WagerTalk TV family. We got a lot coming up here for you today. Gianni, talk to me. It's August 1st.
Yes, sir.
So, everything switches when the calendar turns to August. So what do you got going on right now here? Are you transitioning into football? What's the plan for you?
Yeah, so far I've gotten my futures out of the way so I could focus on week by week. Now, something comes up, I'll fire another one. But I narrowed down the strongest season win totals in college football. I got it narrowed down to 6 of them. 1.5% and 5.4%. And then I added the strong leans that we also bet, just so guys that do their own work can see what's sharp. And then in college football, in the NFL, and it's not surprising, a tighter market, I was only able to narrow it down to the 3 strongest season win totals, 1.5%, 2.4%. And then I also have released my national championship future and my Super Bowl futures. So I'm done with preseason stuff and now ready for the real preseason, tightening up my power ratings. In fact, I already released the first college football bet for that first Saturday in late August. Again, if you're waiting until game day to bet week 1 college football and NFL, you're going to have a tough time. Like, if you're waiting until that Sunday of week 1 NFL to get all your bets in, you're probably going to have a really tough time winning. The value is going to be extracted. Like, sharp bettors are going to extract any value in those prices. Now, again, on game day, that's when the public bets and they're going to knock some lines out of whack. So there'll be some value on game day because the public will force that. But as far as between now and game day, you gotta get out ahead. Like, these lines are moving, they're gonna move. And I already was able to get down on a college football bet and just ready for a big season. Finished number 1 in profit in NFL and college football combined last year, number 1 in college football overall, number 1 in the NFL regular season overall. And it was only the first year I put those power ratings into effect. But more importantly, I only hit about 55, 56%. and did that. So like I didn't defy probability. I didn't have to hit 80%, something that I can't sustain, something that I can't repeat. In fact, I didn't even get lucky. Like it was an uphill battle. If we could get a little bit of lucky this season, forget about it. The opportunity is endless. So expecting a huge season. And what we did is we're giving out the year, and Johnny's throwing in the blackjack course. Dude, again, if you're ever going to jump on board with me, you want to do it now during football. And you want to jump on board long-term because they're giving you the blackjack course. I spent a lot of money myself to take a course just like that, over $5,000. But more importantly, I shared everything in that course that makes you the favorite versus the casino. Meaning if in only 8 lessons, if you learn what I share in that 8-week course, 9-week course, you are now the favorite versus the casino. There's zero doubt. If you could go there and actually do what you practice, you are now the favorite versus the casino. You have the edge. You don't need me anymore. And that was the best thing I ever did, was offering that blackjack course to where we could give it to anyone who, even if they're not interested in blackjack, it's so much of it crosses over to sports betting and risk management and risk of ruin and just dealing with the mental part of sports betting. Again, highly recommend the blackjack course, and they're just giving it away for free. Anyone that jumps on board, and that is good 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I promise you, it's the exact same system that I've used 5 years ago, 10 years ago. The only difference is I shared in there those secrets where, like, if I wrote a book, I wouldn't share the stuff. It's those little actual factors that give you that real edge, how to get away with doing it. Like, again, I could teach someone to do it, but then to actually go to the casino and get away with doing it, that becomes an art. And through trial and error, I learned a lot, and I did not hold back, man. I know I'm going long, but I'm so proud of that course, because nobody could take something like, anyone that has the passion like I did with blackjack and really dives into that course, they are a danger to the casino. They are an advantaged blackjack player, and no one could take that away from you. Once you learn that skill set, it's yours for life. You may not have the bankroll today. A lot of you guys are young, but you may have it a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And you could still apply that exact same system. If you could add, subtract, multiply, and divide, just do those 4 things. I can teach you to be the favorite versus the casino every time you walk in. Every single time you walk through those doors, you're the favorite, just from that course. I promise you that. So, yeah, get on board. Football's around the corner. Steam room's in about 90 minutes, 100 minutes from now. Subscribers, get ready. Having a good second half of baseball. Number 1 since the All-Star break. And we're going to just keep grinding and close out the best 2026. And I'm really excited for what's ahead, brother.
I can tell, folks, listen, that blackjack course is the greatest course that you don't even know you need until you walk away with the principles and understand in just about everything, Gianni. It is truly one of the best things that you've done. The feedback has been amazing. I'm telling you, to get that for free is kind of crazy that they're throwing that in for you. So now's the time, man. It's August 1st, right? Get all of it and get ready for what is going to be a ridiculous next 6 months at the very least here, Yanni. Get that the fact that you can get the blackjack course, guys, sign up. Like, just go to his page right now and get it done. Steam room in an hour and a half, Yanni. Do you have any, you got any steam you want to give out right now?
Let me give them some baseball. Let me give them the baseball, because that's why I didn't put the steam sheet up, because I'll have my subscribers in there, and I know I could give you guys the gold this morning. Here we go. 902 New York Mets minus 120. 904 over 8.5 Pittsburgh Cincinnati. 905 Washington plus 165. I put a lot of time into this. I don't just spit out sides and totals. Like I narrow down the stuff that I think is strongest for you guys. 908 over 8, San Francisco, San Diego. 911 White Sox down to plus 160 and the under 8. Texas minus 115. 918 Toronto minus 140 and 145. Under 7 up to minus 130 in the Yankees Cubs game. Colorado even money and the under 12.5. Dodgers minus 160, and finally under 8.5, Angels and Milwaukee. Don't be afraid of these underdogs in this second half of baseball. Remember, look at that standings. Most of these first place teams are a couple games above 500 at best. You can't make money laying 150s, 160s if you're only winning 55, 60% of your games. So don't be afraid of the dogs in this second half. Best of luck to all. Football's around the corner. Let's do some damage. Best of luck, baby.
VR, best of luck, brother. We'll see you again here a little bit later in the week. Don't forget, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. Don't go anywhere. We are loaded today. Andrew McInnis continuing to cash tickets in the CFL. He'll be by giving us a little bit of insight into maybe a game or two that is coming up. He's once again crushing the CFL season. The only guy I know, and trust me, guys, he is. I don't know what's going on. I guess you got to be from Canada, understand the CFL, and to win at it. And nobody wins better than he does, because Dan and I have no clue. Also coming up, Teddy Covers in the house, because I can't believe it. It's that time of year again. The season wins report, August 1st, is here. Teddy's got a couple in that report to talk about, a couple of teams you guys are going to want to hear about. So don't go anywhere, because we got some Major League Baseball to talk about, as we've got the final weekend here before the trade deadline on Monday. A lot of hype. The only one making any moves is the Minnesota Twins right now, and nobody better to talk some Major League Baseball than one Adam Trigger in the house, ready to go here today. The countdown is on, right? We got till Monday about 6 o'clock. Not a ton of big names or big action so far, but I guess maybe tread a little carefully this weekend, Trig, because there's a lot of guys in locker rooms that are looking around going, I don't know if I'm going to be here on Monday.
Yeah, it is interesting. I think that's, that there are certain teams that you probably want to keep an eye on. So last night I see Johnny. I told Johnny I was done complaining once I won the Twins in the fashion that I won the Twins on Thursday. So I'm not going to bring up my 5% loss on the Pirates. But what I will bring up from that broadcast, Joe, is there are a couple guys on the Reds that even talked about it, like being like a distraction, like they just want it over. Tyler Stevenson is one of them. He spent his entire career with the Reds, and he's a name that is being bounced around as a trade piece. And of course, the Reds are being viewed as a team that's probably going to sell. So it is absolutely something that, to keep an eye on this coming week, and maybe list your pitchers, right? Maybe list your pitchers, because there's always one or two that get scratched from a start. We saw Casey Mize get scratched from a start yesterday. I think Peralta got scratched from his. Yeah, it's a good point. I'll throw out a bet that you could, I think, make. You talked about the Twins making a couple moves. I don't think the Twins are done making moves. I think they have the most. So as you know, Joe, I bet AAA on a daily basis. I've been talking about St. Paul and the good players that they have down at AAA for the Twins. I think the Twins are in the best position to improve their team of any of the teams in the Central. And they're at the best price right now relative to like the White Sox and the Guardians, who are priced as like the two favorites. So I would take a shot on the Twins to win that division. I would not be surprised if by this point on Monday, the Twins made their team better, and they've already got a couple of bullpen pieces. I think it's just a beginning for them. They've got some pieces to move that can make them much better in the coming days.
Got loaded slate today here, Trig. 15 games, a lot of big. DeGrom is on the mound. Framber Valdez, will he go? Won't he go in that spot for Detroit here? Yamamoto and Tolley on the mound. Which one of these games has you most interested here today with the pitching battles?
Yeah, so of the one, so I just did a full show. If you're not watching it, Total Bases, it's usually myself, Tokyo Brandon, and Brian Leonard. We do it 6 days a week. Today it was just me and Tokyo Brandon and I. We hit about 7 of the games. So I said I would come on and try to hit games that we didn't just talk about. I would say of the games that you just mentioned, I think the Rangers is the most intriguing to me of those 3. I haven't played it yet. It moved a little bit. I'm still kind of considering it. I think, Jacob deGrom. So I'll go back and rewind to what I brought this up a couple times this week. This division has a few average teams. I think the Rangers and the Astros are a perfect example of 2 very average baseball teams. Like, they're just like the definition of average. They're probably going to be like 500 teams the rest of the way. The Rangers are, and it's funny because you look at the standings, 55-55, Astros 56-55. I think the Astros maybe had a little bit more upside, but have realized it at this point. Obviously, Jordan's been great, but I think what you see is what you get from both of those teams. Now, why does that matter today? Because at least a few minutes ago, the Rangers were sitting there at -115, yet I think they have a pretty substantial pitching advantage in this game. Jacob deGrom, it's hard to argue with him being like an edge as starting pitcher. He's having another great season. He's one of the better pitchers in the, starting pitchers in the game over the last, going on 10 years at this point. But I think where the edge comes into this game is the fact that Ronel Blanco, it's a little bit unknown what to expect from him at this point. So he comes back from Tommy John surgery, missed, I believe he had the surgery in June of last year, which is the worst time to have Tommy John, right? You want that to occur in the offseason, and you want it to just wipe out one whole season. Because when you have it in June, it typically costs you spring training and then the beginning of the following year. So that's what happened to Blanco. Missed the entire spring. Didn't start rehabbing until late. Looked okay in the rehab outings down at the minor league level. But then he's been back in 2 outings at the big league level. Big time command issues. Balls going all over the place. 3 walks in each start. And he's given up 4 runs and 5 runs respectively. Is he going to outduel Jacob deGrom here? Probably not. And then the Rangers, to me, probably the better of these 2 teams. I just think that they are more consistent across the board. They have a deeper bullpen. I just like the Rangers in terms of if I'm looking at a team from this point on till the end of the year, which of these 2 teams do I think is the better team? And do I think has the chance to win this division or to compete with the Mariners to win this division? It's the Rangers. So if you can get them at this price with deGrom, I think it makes sense. And of course, they got blown out yesterday, so you get them off a loss. So I like the Rangers right here.
Yeah. The Astros are unique, given the fact that Hunter Brown looks a lot more like Hunter Brown of old here, which is interesting. We want to know about the Phillies and the O's thoughts. Sanchez shaky Sanchez has been shaky a lot over the last month. But what are we thinking here, Trig? Is this an over game? Is this a Phillies bounce back game? What are we? Have they won more than 2 games since the break? I don't even know.
Doesn't surprise me at all. I've talked about this a bunch on Total Basis. I thought the Phillies were going to be the best fade coming out of the All-Star break. Reason being, I felt like 2 guys, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, were so responsible for so much of what was good for them in the first. Obviously, the pitching. I don't want to misspeak. The reason the Phillies have won as many games as they've won to this point is the pitching. But Schwarber and Harper getting the big hit virtually every time they've come up to bat this season has been a huge thing in the Phillies being as good as they are. When you look under the hood with this team a little bit and you look at 5 through 9, it's been one of the worst 5 through 9s in baseball all season. They've been a bottom 10 lineup all season. 7 through 9, bottom 5 OPS of any team in Major League Baseball. So you had 2 guys in Schwarber and Harper that were both all-stars, that both participated in the home run derby, that both played in the all-star game. And it's now that they're not getting the huge hit every single time they step to the plate, suddenly the Phillies are losing games. And it's not even and then, you've got pitching, which has been really good, but Chris Sanchez, who we're going to see today, has had a couple bad outings. And it's Zach Wheeler's had a couple bad outings. And so, no, it doesn't surprise me one bit that the Phillies are in sort of a free fall, because remember, Joe, before Schwarber and Harper started going off and getting big hit after big hit, this was a team that started 10-19 and fired their coach. So no, it doesn't surprise me at all that they've struggled. With that being said, I could see them winning today for 2 reasons. One, The Orioles, a little bit worse against left-handed pitching. I've watched a lot of Orioles games, and I've watched a lot of the Masson broadcast this year. Like, I think it's Jim Palmer on the coverage where every game he's like, we just don't hit lefties. Like, he's like, I don't know why, because we've got guys that should hit lefties, but we straight up just do not hit left-handed pitching. Well, you're getting one of the best Major League Baseball has to offer today in Christopher Sanchez. So not the guy you want to see on the bump if you don't hit lefties well. And that's, that they'll probably have Kobe Mayo and some guys that have pop that can hit the ball out of the ballpark against a left-handed pitcher. But like someone like Kobe Mayo is hitting like 195 on the year. So my gut says Christopher Sanchez has a good start, and he probably stops the bleeding at least temporarily for the Phillies. So even though I don't love this Phillies team, overall right now, I think this is probably the day they get a win. Just Sanchez, it feels like a spot where he, stops this 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, pretty decent price too for a guy that a month ago was considered to be the odds-on favorite to win the Cy Young in the National League. What a difference a month makes here. Thoughts on the Dodgers total here? Interesting game. I had said last night, Trig, that and I had taken Boston on one of the shows here on the best betting show ever, and I said that's my long shot of the day. Dodgers never show up in the first game of the series. But with Yamamoto on, I had said if Boston wins this game, I'm on the Dodgers here tonight. I don't care. Come hell or high water. I'll take Yamamoto here in this one. $1 minus 160 is a favorite, but the total 7.5. Ches Ravine has been sneaky over Trig with the conditions. So I'd be careful with that 7.5.
Yes, this is a tough handicap. I think this was the game. I was hoping the Dodgers won last night because this was a game I felt like this was the spot to take advantage of like the Red Sox having like a more favorable matchup than you would think. Reason being, I think Tolle is you look at his underlying metrics, they're not that far off from Yamamoto. I mean, I think that this guy has the upside of being the ace, whether it be on this team or a different team at some point down the line. Like he is like has ace type upside. Right now with Garrett Crochet out, he might be their ace, right? Like he might be the best pitcher that the Red Sox have, at least the highest upside pitcher that the Red Sox have. Obviously, Sonny Gray has been pretty good as well. But so here I look at the Red Sox as an underdog, and it kind of makes sense. That being said, you make a great point. It's something Brian Leonard has pointed out on Total Bases numerous times this year, where like the Dodgers coming off a loss are very, very good. And it's not exactly the spot that you want to bet against the Dodgers. There's plenty of good spots to fade this Dodgers team because it really does look like they're just showing up. They're like, hey, like wake me up in October when these games actually matter. They've gone through the motions and they're 26 games over 500, like just by going through the motions.
Yep.
So do you want to get the Dodgers when they care a little bit, right? Like, I guess, do they? I suppose they maybe do coming off the loss. That being said, I still like Tolle. Here's the thing. I would have loved Red Sox plus 1.5 at a very good price here because you're getting the road team, the extra run. I could see it being a close game with these two pitchers. And the fact that the Red Sox are scrapping right now. Like they're playing good ball. And even since the 15-game win streak, which I thought would have been like once the win streak is over, this team's just gonna tank. Very Marlins-esque, I thought it might be, but that really hasn't happened. They've played good ball, and they sort of show up and battle each day. So Red Sox plus 1.5 was how I originally wanted to look at this one. It's what I talked about on Total Basis, but you're not getting a great price on that, so I'm probably out on this game.
Good stuff there, Trig. What do you got at your page over at WagerTalk.com, man? Locked and loaded today?
Yeah, I got one best bet for clients right now. It's a 4% MLB play. I can't get enough of the Gianni blackjack video. I just hope one day, Joe, that like there's a video of me like getting shackled and dragged out of a casino for betting minor league baseball. That's my dream. I want one day I want to be like hauled off because they've cut me off from betting minor league baseball. You can get all my minor league plays, which are up, I believe, 41 units on the season for minor league for AAA baseball. And listen, you can bet this stuff a lot of places now. It's not as, you might have to go to a certain book, but it's out there. Joe, down in Florida, Hard Rock's as good as it gets for minor league baseball. Great place to be betting minor league baseball. But anyway, there's plenty of places to do it. It's one of those things that I'm pretty confident I'm going to win at year in, year out. And you'll get those as part of my all access package. The only place you're getting those, I don't put those up for individual sales. So you have to be an all access subscriber to get the minor league baseball picks. If you want the MLB pick, which I'm having a good MLB season as well, that is up on my page, and that goes tonight, 4% play. And baseball's been great. I think overall up like 50 something units, and awesome. I'm right around the 100 unit mark for the year. I was over 100 units, but then the Pirates sold on me last night, Joe. I told Johnny I wasn't going to complain about Nick Gonzalez not making a play that I used to make in my sleep in high school. But that's what happened to me last night. So we got to win today to get back over the 100 unit mark for 2026.
I love it, Trig. Awesome stuff, man. Keep crushing it. Make sure you check out the show too, right? Total Bases daily, guys, on the WagerTalk YouTube page. You can check them out each and every day. Next show Monday, or are you going tomorrow as well, Trig?
No, we get Sunday off, so we take Sunday off. We will be back 9 a.m. Eastern right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, 6 days a week, 9 a.m. Eastern on the weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern right ahead of last call on Saturday.
Get out of here, Trig. Go cash those tickets. Appreciate it, brother. Always a pleasure, man. Guys, don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button and buckle up. We still got Teddy Covers coming up here to talk. It's August 1st. Get ready. He's talking some win totals and his yearly, shall we say. I can't believe it's that time of year. Anytime that we can get Teddy Covers in and ready to go with the NFL season wins report, it is a good time of year. He is coming up. And I do want to let you guys know as well before we get Andrew McInnis in here, because he could very well be one of those flex handicappers that you want to be involved with, guys. And this is all about control for you guys. We're talking about having you pick whatever is flexible to you, who you'd like, what you'd like. It's all about your terms. So this is a great opportunity, not just at WagerTalk, but picks and parlays, as well as winners and whiners, guys. This is a great package. You can switch handicappers at any time. You can plan ahead. You can go day by day. And you get full access to that handicapper as you pick them for that day, all selections. So, this is the way you go. Check it out, guys. All three sites, WagerTalk, Picks and Parlays, Winners and Whiners, all available right now for you guys. I'm telling you, this is how it works. This is the best way, as you can see, because you can pick your guy and you can switch it the next day if you want. And back and forth you go. So, great opportunity on sale right now. Flex Picks at WagerTalk.com, because I'm telling you, you better consider Andrew McInnis for your flex play here, because Andrew, I talked to you a couple of weeks ago, and I told people that nobody knows the CFL like Andrew McInnis. I don't know how you do it. I can't figure it out. Feels like the season for Canadian Football League is like 12 months. It feels like it never dies. They got like 9,000 weeks, but once again, you're up, when it's 63, 64% of your plays again this year. You are a monster with the CFL, and it's an interesting time of year with the CFL and some interesting games coming up here, too.
I always appreciate it, Joe. Good to see you. Happy Saturday, everybody out there. You know what, Joe? It's been fantastic, and had a loss on Thursday night. And even with the season I'm having right now, you just piss. You don't want to lose any games, right? And then Friday, come back with a nice winner. And last night I had a player prop yesterday, and I was debating playing the underdog side, Joe, or the underdog's quarterback on his passing yards over. And I decided to say, what the hell? If they even come close to contending, or if they're getting blown out, this guy's still going to have to sling it. Well, I'm happy I didn't play the dog. They lost by like 20, but my guy goes well over 300 yards. His number was 280. So I'm happy to get that bounce back. Thursday night, though, I will say 28-point fourth quarter to lose an under for me. I had under 53.5. The in-game got to 32.5, Joe. So that one kind of stung, but we got two games to go over today. I got a best bet going today, so I'm feeling pretty good here on a Saturday.
All right, well, let's talk about these games here. Which one do you want up first? Because both are actually pretty interesting here.
Well, let's start with the Hamilton one. And, we always say every ticket cash is the same here. I'm going to give out some props, but I'll just set the table like this. Calgary is one of the most exciting teams to watch. If I were to try and convince somebody right now to watch a CFL game, or, hey, you need a CFL team, this should be your team to watch. They give up the most points, Joe, but they also score the most points. They're an over bettor's dream. But this is the difference. Now they're being asked to win in a different role, right? They used to be an underdog. They used to be asking just to win the game and pick 'em situations. Now they opened up around -5.5. Now we have seen this move to 4.5 or 4 even at some shops. So we'll take that into consideration. This is a home game for Hamilton, where I do have Hamilton ranked as one of the better home fields in the league. Now, Trey Ford, quarterback that I haven't always been the nicest when I'm talking about him, I'll be honest with you. But this has to be kind of a buy low situation here. You've got 250.5 for his passing yard prop. You look at Calgary this season, dead last, giving up 326 passing yards per game, Joe. This isn't just one or two shops offering this. You can get a handful of books now that give you player props in the CFL, especially the quarterback props. Everybody knows usually starts with the quarterback, the passing, then we go to rushing, receiving. Trey Ford over 250 on his passing yards. Really like that one for tonight, regardless of the result. A same situation as last night, regardless if Hamilton hangs around or not. Calgary's defense is not the same defense that Hamilton has had to face lately. This is a Calgary team that will outscore their problems. They'll give up 30 points, Joe, but they'll score 50 in their favor. So this is a defense we can still bet against in the player prop market, and we'll find out later today if this is their day to go down. But to me, it's a great, great player prop day. And if you're going to play Calgary, I think you would want to play the first half in this one. And I also think we could get some opportunities on some in-game overs, because I think that we're going to see some long, methodical drives, especially from Hamilton, to try and drag out the clock. Nobody wants to get into a shootout with Calgary.
Makes total sense here. I can't wait to hear what you've got to say here about the Elks coming up here, McInnis. But before we do that, you got a heck of a package up right now and available. Tell us about it here, because both the CFL and the NFL right now for you.
I love this deal we put together here, Joe. It's fantastic. And look, this is kind of what I do when it comes to my football betting. Sure, you might see the occasional ATS bet come through if you're an all access subscriber of me, but the majority of bets you're going to see come in are NFL player props, plus 17 units. We ended up the season last year in the NFL, and a lot of those are 1-2 units. So far this season already, plus 24 units in the CFL, 5-2 on the 5% plays. So with this package, you'll get the rest of my CFL all the way until the Grey Cup. And then I'm hoping we're going to make enough money. You're just free rolling after buying this package for the entire NFL season with player props. So check it out, wt.buzz/AM. And I've had people kind of mixing and matching as well, doing the CFL plus NHL season, CFL plus NFL player props. Customer service is always great with taking care of people. And I think this is a great, great deal. Love the NFL player props, Joe.
I know you do, my man. That's why you keep cashing those tickets each and every season. All right, is it the Elks and this rematch that you're talking about coming up? Because this was one hell of a game a week ago, was it not?
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. We got like 500 pass yards from one quarterback, near 400 pass yards from the other. And this has been the story of the season. Like it's almost like when the Browns had that horrific season, Joe. Imagine if the next year they just were first place in the league. Like, this is what it almost feels like here. Like, Edmonton turned it around last year when they finally put in a different quarterback. And, they made some changes defensively, coordinators and things. Had a couple offseason acquisitions, but this team has looked different this year. I will say one thing with this line in particular. A home and home situation gives us a good opportunity to figure out if the rapid revenge opportunity is there. And when you look at how this line was in Saskatchewan, We had them at +4.5, +5.5, Edmonton, and now you open them up at -1.5. I don't think either of these teams deserves enough home field advantage at this point in the CFL that we should be getting that much of a move. So I do think we are seeing a little bit of overinflation towards the Edmonton Elks side. But the play here, and this is kind of hey, you better be careful. This is only the pros are betting the under is the play, Joe, in this one. And it's similar to me when you bet the NHL and you see a home and home and you see the first game finish 6-3. What's the message in the room after that first game? Of course, everyone's going to say, oh, the last game was so high scoring. The next one ends up being a 2-1 game. This, to me, is going to be one of those games where the Saskatchewan head coach who calls all the defensive plays, he takes care of the defensive stuff for Saskatchewan. He's taken this personally, not just as the head coach, but as the defensive coordinator. They're going to do what they can to shut down Edmonton and their offensive attack. And I think right now we've seen Edmonton do a great job of not giving up the big play down the field. So start of the year, Joe, we had 48.5s. We had 46.5s, 52.5s. Now it's 59.5, 60.5s for these totals. I think it's now time to look towards the under. And we still could have a great game. I mean, this could still be a fun game to watch and go under when the total is 59.5.
They got to better go under. I'll tell you that, because otherwise, there's going to be a big advantage in there. Quarterbacks have been outstanding here too. Love these overs, Andrew, but you know what? It can't always go over. There's got to be some defense at some particular point here. What else now? Do you have you got to play locked and loaded for the weekend and coming up for us on your page of WagerTalk?
We got a best bet side today, and I actually had to pull one down, Joe. And I'm not just saying this. It's one frustrating thing with the CFL. You need to have honor. You need to have respect. I can't keep a play up that's +1.5 when the line moves to -3.5. You just can't do it. So I want to have packages up to make sales to get people on these plays. Can't do it when the line's always moving. That's why you guys got to join the all access stuff. But I do have a best side available right now at wagertalk.com. And Joe, we just closed in on our third straight winning month, over around 75 units since May 1st. So feeling pretty good. Baseball's been there, hit a 5% baseball play 2 days ago. Those are always stressful, man. Baseball, I don't care if my team's up 6-1 in the ninth. I'm never cashing a winner until the game is over. But we're feeling good, man. What about you, Joe? What's going on for you today?
Listen, baseball, it is, of course, until, I don't know, when is Thursday? I think we have an NFL game finally. Yeah. So then everything shifts. But I'm glad it's August 1st, Andrew, because that means not only NFL, college football, but you and I both know that means, the NHL and NBA are not going to be that far behind as well. So this year has flown by, to say the least, my man. Love that package for you, though. CFL and NFL combination, WT.buzz/AM. He's got the side bet right now on his page at WagerTalk. McInnis, always a pleasure, brother. Best of luck. We'll talk to you again during the week. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you haven't done so. Become part of this WagerTalk TV family. And if you've hung around to hang with us, I have a pretty good idea as to the reason why. I can tell you this. I remember Teddy Covers when he released his first season's wins report. I think he had just turned 18, if I'm not. Well, let's ask him. Let's bring in one and only Teddy Covers, my man. Pleasure to see you. And if I'm seeing you on August 1st, that means the season wins report is here. And guess what? That means football is just around the corner, my brother. What were you, 18 when you released that first one in 2001?
So I was on the wrong side of 30 when I moved out to Vegas, dude. I'm old. I've been here a long time. It is what it is. You're the same way. Your hair is just not as gray as mine is. But we've got meaningful football, and I understand it's preseason. That's meaningful football in my world. Thursday, this week. It's not 100 years away. It's not, it's here. It's now. And the bettors who are going to win in September are doing their work in August. I'll tell you, if you're trying to go into week one, let's take a look who did what this offseason. You're behind the curve. That's why I love to get my stuff done early in the NFL, because the markets will pay attention to what I just paid attention to with the win report release yesterday. But it doesn't happen yet. It's just starting to happen now.
Yeah, and it's important for folks to know that it's not like you just woke up last night. It was like, we're going to throw a season wins report together. When does the process begin for you when you put this thing together, when you start?
The draft. After the draft, I starting to picking. And then really as June and July, I'm just digging, I used to put out the report a little bit earlier, a couple of weeks earlier in July. And we pushed it back because the markets didn't move enough compared to what the extra benefit of having a little bit more time to think about it and a little bit more time to see how stuff come together. And even this week, there were decisions that were, teams went in and out from the short list into the report based on some stuff that happened late. So I'm glad I pushed it back a little bit this year to the end of July. And obviously, it's a report that we spend a lot of time with. This report and the work I do for it sets up my entire season, and that's why we've had such a good track record in week one. That's why we've got such a good track record in September. Long term, is you put in the work early and it pays dividends. And I've been working on this for 2 months.
All right, so good. We're going to talk about two teams coming up here, guys, that are a bit head scratching to say the least. First one is Green Bay coming up here, Teddy. They came back a little bit last year, right? I think they won 11 games the year prior, 9-7. They even had that ridiculous tie, which was just absurd. And, we heard parts not going to be available to start the year, but you do have Jordan Love. You got some new faces. This whole division is head scratching, but what do you think about the Packers coming into the season?
So, one of the things that I do in preparation for the win report is you spend a lot of time looking back at last year because you want an accurate assessment of where teams were at the end of 2025 to begin your powering process for 2026. And this is a Green Bay franchise. They've been good. They've been good a long time. 13 wins, 9, 11-9, 5 straight winning seasons under Matt LaFleur, 76-40 in his tenure in Green Bay. But in the playoffs, they're 1-5 over the last 6 years, or 6 tries. And they've been the number 7 seed each of the last 3 years. They've been bounced by the number 7 seed. And the way last season ended, 0-5 to close out the campaign. They blew an 18-point lead to the Bears in their playoff game. That was one of 3 double-digit leads they blew down the stretch. There were some chemistry concerns here for Green Bay. And I'm not convinced those concerns were answered this past offseason. We look at the Packers and we break down the personnel, and everyone focuses on skill position talent. That's not where I focus. I focus in the trenches. I focus in the secondary. I focus on the stuff that other people don't necessarily pay as much attention to. And Green Bay, that secondary doesn't threaten me. That offensive line is as weak as I've seen for the Packers in the last half decade. I've got my concerns about Green Bay getting up and over 9.5 wins. And you talk about that schedule, it's not as brutal as the toughest teams in the league, but it sure isn't easy for Green Bay. So my lean, and the Packers are on the short list for unders. I didn't pull the trigger in this round with the win report, but I may well pull it in the next round. We'll see. I want to see what that offensive line looks like under pressure in a meaningful preseason game. And then we may end up pulling the trigger on Packers under. But that's the way I'm looking, is Green Bay under. I look at them as a potential last place team in a very competitive division.
Let me ask you, Ted, because I've had this debate with a couple of people now. Where does Jordan Love rank? Is he a top-tier quarterback? Is he middle of the road? Where is Jordan Love, in your opinion?
So Love last year at a 23-6 interception to turnover ratio. All right. I cannot put him in any category but good, very good, or excellent. That said, when a team goes 0-5 down the stretch and they blow double-digit leads, if you blow a double-digit lead in an NFL game in the second half, that's on your offense, not your defense. Your defense is going to wear down when the offense can't get first downs. Defenses run out of gas in the fourth quarter. We've all seen it 1,000 times. So when you're blowing double-digit leads, it was, the defense gave it. No, the offense couldn't grind first down. The other team gets momentum. When the offense grinds first downs, that momentum gets stopped. And Love and the offense weren't able to do that. consistently down the stretch last year, that's a big concern for me in terms of assessing where I'm going to rank Jordan Love amongst the elites versus the goods. And right now, he's only going to be in the good, in part because of that.
Yeah, I just got to make that next step. And boy, this leads us perfectly into the next team here, Teddy, because the Houston Texans, to me, you answer one question. Is CJ Stroud taking that next step, or is it more of the same? Because if he doesn't, they can't protect him. 9.5 wins, Teddy, too much, not enough. What are we thinking?
They've won 10, 10, and 12 the last 3 years. So they've gone over this number in every year. Now, the playoffs in all 3 years hasn't been particularly good. They're 0-7 all time, the divisional round. And you talked about CJ Stroud as being the key guy here. That's the mainstream narrative. That, it's all CJ Stroud. We don't know how good CJ Stroud is, and maybe he's good and maybe he isn't. I don't buy it. I watch a lot of Texans. CJ Stroud is a winning quarterback. The problem the Texans have had in each of the last 2 years, offensive line and receivers. Last year, every weapon they had got hurt last year. You're like, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud sucks. Yeah, he's throwing a bunch of guys who shouldn't be running routes in playoff games, a bunch of guys who he hasn't worked with all season because all his receivers got hurt. And Stroud takes the blame for that. Houston's offensive line was bad. They rebuilt the offensive line last year, and it was bad again. Okay? Just Stroud. CJ Stroud is a terrible quarterback because he's getting hit every time before he finishes the 5-step drop. His arm's already getting smacked by someone. And Stroud takes the blame for that. I think CJ Stroud has all kinds of upside. I think the Texans have all kinds of upside. Once again, this offensive line has been rebuilt. And if it stinks again, that upside won't get there. The receiving core appears to be much healthier and more talented than it's been. And of course, you have DeMeco Ryans with a defense that is as good as any in the league, maybe the best in the league. Houston's not going to give up points in bunches, and they don't have to throw the football around the field because they're not going to give up points in bunches. If I'm playing the Texans, we're going over the total, maybe look at something to win the division. And Houston might be a team considering. I don't bet those futures. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Who's going to win the AFC? The odds aren't right. But if you're betting those kind of futures, the Texans might be worth looking at.
It did seem a little odd, Teddy, right? For a team that wins 12 games a year ago to drop to 9.5 with not a ton of turnover. It makes you go, are we missing something? Is it not going to be the best defense in the AFC again? Or what am I missing here with this number?
Well, so when you see the season, and that's one of the things that's been much tougher about the season win marketplace now than it was 10 or 20 years ago, is that the markets recognize that because a team was here last year doesn't mean you should price them at here this year. So there's always regression to the mean priced in. From a scheduling standpoint for the Texans, again, they were plus 17 in turnovers last year. And that's something that the markets look at the positive turnover teams, and the two biggest ones were Chicago and Houston. And the markets say, they're not as good as they look because of the turnovers, and you have to devalue what they did. But from a strength of schedule standpoint this season, Houston doesn't have it easy. And obviously they won the division a year ago, so he plays the first place schedule. And that also has to do with why they're lined 9.5 instead of a 10.5 or 11.5 team. And one other factor worth considering, when you talk about public team with betting bandwagons, Texans aren't one of those teams. They're not. No postseason success, no history of winning big bets for people. There are a lot of other franchises that get a lot more public money than the Houston Texans do, and that has the potential to be something to consider when you talk about undervalued commodities coming into 2026.
Yeah, David Montgomery, if he can have some success like he did in Detroit for this team, they should have no problem going over those 9.5 wins there, Teddy. But listen,
running backs. We're not going to talk. You can't.
Oh, come on!
No running backs.
Block the guy before he hits Stroud, will you? Irrelevant. Just at least block.
Irrelevant.
He hates running backs, Teddy. I love it. All right, so tell me here, Teddy. Texans, Green Bay, great, but you are locked and loaded here, not only in the guide here, but up at your page at WagerTalk.com. What are folks getting right now?
So the season win report was posted yesterday. It is hot off the presses. You can get it for $199 for the report, and that's going to get you all. And the key is the write-ups. You know, the write-ups talk about all the spots over the course of the year. There's a lot of info in those write-ups that you can use. But I encourage you, don't buy my report for $199. Let's partner up this football season. All right. I did not have a good year last year. I'm freaking hungry. and that matters at this stage of my career. You want to be hungry and focused. I'm as hungry as focused as I get. I've been working on this stuff all summer. I'm going to make money this year. Let's partner up. Get the full season. You get the report for $199. You get the full season for $599. That includes the report. That includes everything from the preseason through the Super Bowl. Every play, nothing more to buy. And take $50 off. Use promo code Teddy50 at checkout. And take $50 off. So you get the entire season, $549. If you're interested, check it out on my homepage, WT.buzz/TC. I want to make money this year, and I would love it if you join me.
I would highly recommend you guys going and grabbing the report. It's must read. Again, it's not just this is who you bet or this is what. It's the whys, guys. The whys matter more than anything else, especially if you haven't done a lot of looking into football. Like, oh, wow, it's August 1st. Here we are. You want to talk about getting caught up in a hurry, guys. It is the report that you want. Of all the reports, this is the one you want heading into the season there, Teddy. You excited, man? Well, you got college football coming up too, man. You ready for that, Michigan?
Am I ready? No, but I will be by the end of the month. So I do my NFL work first because less changes over the summer in the NFL. In the modern world in college, a lot of things change in fall camp. So college work, once the NFL win report goes out, the focus shifts in terms of obviously we work on the NFL on a day in, day out basis for preseason, but the focus shifts to college, and I'll be ready by the end of the. I'll be ready. It usually takes me two to 3 weeks to be where I want to be in college. We do a whole lot of reading over the next week, and obviously we're doing videos as well.
Yep.
The team preview videos that I want to talk about. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to WagerTalk TV, I don't know what you're waiting for, but we've got. I think 10, maybe a dozen team preview videos already recorded, and we'll be doing more next week. So check them out on the WagerTalk YouTube channel right now.
All right, got to ask you, Teddy, because you're a Michigan guy. I think they nailed the hire. I think they got the right guy at the right time in the right situation here. But Michigan, if you're underestimating the athletes in Michigan, it's probably not a good idea to do that just yet, is it?
Whittingham's a guy we like our money on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Great stuff. Teddy Covers, always a pleasure to see you, brother. Appreciate the time. Go grab that wins report, guys. Do it on his page right now, WT.buzz/TC. And get that jump on what's going on in the NFL, man. It's a must read, and you got to have it in your arsenal as you're getting ready. And again, football's here on Thursday, guys. It's kind of crazy. And don't forget also, consider Teddy with the Flex Picks, also available right now. If you have not been involved with the Flex Picks here, it is the ultimate package here at WagerTalk.com. As you can see, the 3 days, the 7 days, the 30 days, you get to pick your favorite handicapper, change it on Sunday, change it on Monday, stick with the guy that you got on Tuesday. It really does give you the flexibility and total control over who you are partnering with and on what day. Plus, you get access to all of their plays for that day. So this is huge. This is a great opportunity. It's one of the more underutilized packages we have at Wager Talk. Take advantage right now with the Flex Picks on sale over at WagerTalk.com. Just go pick your guy, and that's it, and kind of kick back and wait for the plays to come in and go cash those tickets, guys. That's what it is all about. Don't forget the like and subscribe button. Kelly will be back next week in the chair here for more Last Call. Hope you guys will stop by once again. As always, we appreciate the time. Dan Alexander in the back, I am sure that he has got some sort of room to paint or a house or a roof to chase something. The man never sleeps, but we appreciate it as always. Guys, we appreciate you. Enjoy the games here today. Get ready for football. It's August 1st, and we'll see you again next week for another edition